So, what is syphilis? Syphilis is a sexually transmitted infection, or STI, caused by a bacteria called Treponema pallidum. The disease is transmitted by direct contact with a syphilis sore during sex on the vagina, penis, anus, and on or in the mouth. How would someone know if they have syphilis? There are four stages: primary, secondary, latent, and tertiary. The primary stage is characterized by canker sores on the genitals or the mouth and are typically painless. The secondary stage shows a red or brown rash that does not itch. The rash appears on the hands and feet as well as the possibility of being on other parts of the body. Following the secondary stage is the latent stage. This stage shows no symptoms. However, the disease can still be transferred to another individual and appear in the bloodstream. If syphilis goes untreated, it can cause numbness, paralysis, blindness, and heart disease for those in the tertiary stage of syphilis. In 2014, the incidence of syphilis among men and women in the United States was 1.1 per every 100,000 people. Men who have sex with men are more likely to contract syphilis. African Americans have the highest incidence rates in the United States at 18.9 per 100,000 people. Among African Americans, men have the highest incidence rate at 34.5 per 100,000 African American males. The next demographic with the high incidence rates are Hispanic and American Indians. Among Hispanic and American Indians, the incidence rate is 7.6 per 100,000. Among Hispanic males, it is 13.9 per 100,000, and among American Indian males, it is 10.5 per 100,000. As of 2014, South Dakota and Louisiana had the highest rates of syphilis in the U.S. South Dakota at 8.1 per 100,000 people, and Louisiana at 5.6 per 100,000 people. Texas, California, Louisiana, and Florida had the highest number of new cases of syphilis in 2014. Wyoming, Vermont, and Idaho had the lowest incidence rates of syphilis in the United States in 2014 at 0 per 100,000 people. If syphilis is left untreated, infection can span decades. Most doctors will use penicillin for treating syphilis, but doxycycline is a good alternative. For adults and adolescents with early symptoms of syphilis, one intramuscular injection of benzathine penicillin is recommended by the World Health Organization STI guidelines. This recommendation is the same for pregnant women. For individuals with a penicillin allergy or those incapable of taking benzathine penicillin, WHO STI guidelines recommends 100 milligrams of doxycycline twice daily, administered orally for 2 weeks. In individuals with late syphilis or uncertainty of current stage, intramuscular injection of benzathine penicillin is recommended once weekly by the WHO STI guidelines for 3 weeks. In infants with mothers of untreated syphilis or syphilis treated with non-penicillin regimens, aqueous benzyl penicillin and procaine penicillin is suggested by the WHO STI guidelines.
Created using Powtoon.